Everybody wants to be loved, and when love fails over and over again, and we're not designed for that to happen, we can become covertly maligned, and we start to deal with sinfulnesses within ourselves that we hide from those around us. This can work out in many different ways. One of the ways in which we see this manifest is the battles we have within ourselves about making right and wrong decisions. And then we'll see that we have a string of wrong decisions that could be based on, for instance, passivity, not doing what we're supposed to, neglecting what we should be doing, can be underlined with depression and all this other stuff that holds us in an idle place. On the other hand, we could be doing too much, integrating intimately and recklessly, carelessly with people that we should not, and validating that on the element of attraction. That does not protect us from the consequences of a body count. People take body counts like they're some kind of a joke, but the more people that we are carelessly and recklessly involved with, the more voices we hear in our head. The transfusion of those people and everything that's going on in their mind has the permission through the intercourse gateway to come into our mind. And I remember many years ago we were working on a set of units, a retirement village, bricklaying, and one of the guys picked up a hitchhiker, and they had a reckless encounter, intimate encounter, and a week later we didn't know who that person was. It was like he lost his mind. And there was clear evidence that this was a consequence of the engagement he went on, and the transfusion that the mental, psychological transfusion that come out of that encounter was clear. And so sometimes we put ourselves in situations, intimate situations, built on the essence of attraction, which offers no protection psychologically or validation in any way whatsoever, except for what we apply to it. And the invisible psychological and spiritual consequences that come out of these decisions, we're coming back to decisions of commission, are lifelong. Sometimes we never recover. And in the absolute extreme cases where these decisions have been made to allow strangers to get close to us, some people have been murdered and gone missing and never found again. So you don't know what's going on in the mind, the malignancy in the mind of people. And it can be subtle, and it can be hounding, on the other hand, hounding the mind. And all this comes out of these negative encounters that we experience with romance and relationship and intimacy. For many women, they'll meet men that are unable to satisfy them intimately, or were able to, but the person was unable to perform correctly because of all the psychological how could I word this, psychological barriers that would block the experience from taking place. Other people drug themselves into states where Nothing can block their sexual experience, but they still suffer the same consequences in the long run, regardless of how positive or negative the experience is. So narcissism, sinfulness, the sinful nature, and all the evils and consequences that come with that part of our lives are ongoing. It happens to us on a daily basis. We're constantly in the battlefield of the mind, and in some areas of the mind, limbs have been blown off. The damage is so deep and so profound, we can't even, we're not even conscious of a lot of it. This can cause all sorts of consequential ways in which we deal with our daily lives. In my case, I'm not a very social person. I can go out and be social just like anybody else. I can go out and cold approach women and all of that. I've got no issue with any of that, talking to strangers and all that. But I've decided that, knowing how unpredictable and evil cultures become with the over-prescription of medications, the availability of recreational drugs, and the legal aspects of alcohol, these are cocktails for people to become recklessly and dangerously unhinged. That's why I've always said the superpower of modern life is to be straight in the sense of not needing these consequential assists to help the mind or help the body. I know there's pain relief and all that other stuff, and it's necessary, and there's all sorts of different medications and things, but it's built on doctors' prescriptions and all this other stuff. But we should only take what we need to. There's a massive market out there where people are after the money, not after the health. So we have to be careful of that as well. And all these things have caused me to remain in my sporting sectors, a monogamous relationship, and very few people in my circle of life. I have my customers and things for the bricklaying and whatnot, and the counselling and other stuff, but I keep it to a minimum, and I allow the spirit of the thing to manifest where that's going to lead me and who I'm going to encounter. So there's a malignancy that comes with the multiple malignancies that come with the damages of narcissism and sinfulness, and they can become so deep and so ingrained that they wear us out. They wear us into the ground, and we hope on a day-to-day basis that things are going to get better. Now, I can tell you that over time things do get better, but for the majority, many of these things just do not go away. They haunt us for the rest of our lives. And in our desperateness to try and experience peace and happiness and all the other stuff, we can push them to the back. But you'll see people's faces, different people's faces, that seem to carry this slight, this underneath the happiness, there's this slight of troubledness on the face. And 9 times out of 10, that troubledness is a result of what relationships and the disappointments and harms that have come through those relationships, the abandonments and the deep hurts. It's those relationships that can change even the way we look. They harm our bodies and contort the face in ways in which we are left with these things permanently. So there's an element to all this that is more serious than we want to realise. People end up in mental homes, and some people end up dying because things become maligned. And when things become maligned, that's a very dangerous dangerous interference that we have to deal with, and it's tiring, troubling, and confronting, and it can also be very isolating. I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.